Hi, thanks for being with us today on Community Connection. I'm your host, Tracey Christensen. The dangers of drug abuse and addiction continue to be a threat in our community. Today we are talking with Addict II Athlete Representative Blue Robinson, who has come up with a way to help people who struggle with substance abuse and replace it with something better. Thanks, Blue, for being with us. Tell us about your organization.
Well, Addict II Athlete was born exactly 2 years ago. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary on the 4th. And so we've come a long way from the 5 original members. We're now at about a little over 400 throughout the valley, Utah County and Salt Lake County. But basically, it started as an alternative to the 12-step programs that are pretty prevalent here in the county, but also to put action into recovery instead of just sitting around talking about it, to actually get out and replace old habits with new habits. So we recreate the addict who still suffered from addiction, to replace that with something of greater value like athletics and teamwork and unity and a lot of service.
How important is that, do you think, the replace part?
It's crucial. It is absolutely the foundation of recovery. If you remove the addiction and don't put something in that void that's left behind, you can fill it up with other things. You can cross-addict, So if you're using a drug or alcohol and you remove that and not replace it with something positive, you can replace it with overeating or gambling, or pornography, things of that nature. So it's important to fill it with something of balance and something with a goal-oriented activity.
So you just listed several addictions, so any addict of any kind is welcome to participate in your organization?
Absolutely. Anyone struggling with addiction, whether it be an individual themselves or a family member, can come and participate in the Addict II Athlete program. We don't identify any of our athletes as addicts. It's a part of them, it's not who they are. Therefore, we don't really talk about, hello, I'm Blue, I'm an addict, because it's an attribute, it's not who they are. So they're mothers, they're fathers, their sons, brothers, scholars, artists, and they're athletes. And yes, they're addicts, but it's not who they are, it's a part of them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And now
yes,
they're an athlete. So talk about some of your events.
We participate in one event a month. Typically, it's a nonprofit kind of goal-oriented event. So we've ran for Utah Foster Care, 5 and 10Ks. We've done cancer research. We never do a for-profit race. That's kind of the service of us getting back to reestablish what people think and view of addiction. But all this kind of culminates to our own 5 and 10K that we have in September. It's coming up September 6, 2013 in Payson, Utah. And it coincides with the recovery month that we have here in the state of Utah. And so that Friday night, we're having a Take Back the Night 5 and 10K. And basically we'll have, the community, we chose Payson this year because Payson, Utah, unfortunately has the highest risk of overdose deaths. Really? And so last year it was Highland City, and we went and had an event there, and it was wonderful. But this year, unfortunately, it's Payson. But what we find is when we go and educate the community, show them who we are, what once we were an addict and now we are an athlete, they can get behind us and say, these people do have stories and there's nothing to be embarrassed about, and we want to get behind it to help show that there's a better way to do this recovery thing. Can you tell us about somebody whose life has changed? I'm sure there are many, but... There are many, and the team is amazing, but one in particular that I've had the most, fun watching was one of our original athletes. His name is Keith, and Keith was a 25-year smoker. And he was one of the first athletes that I said, hey, we want to try something new here. What do you think about training for a 5K? And he kind of laughed, but jumped on board with it. As he trained for this 5K, it was the Chase the Mayor 5K 2 years ago, he started feeling that if I can do this, there's not a lot I can't do. If I can run for 3 miles straight and be cheered on by complete strangers, maybe I can go and tell the judge that, I'm a lot stronger than I think I am. That turned into a snowball effect. From that, Keith got his family involved. They began to participate in Addict II Athlete. He moved from 5Ks to 10Ks to half marathons and marathons, and we both ran the 50-mile Pony Express ultramarathon last October. Wow. And he does it now as a way to connect his family. He's very balanced in that he knows that there's limits and times and things that where he can't train, spend time with family. So it's created a balance of a family system within Keith. So he's probably one of our biggest success stories. That's
so great. Just the act of setting a goal and reaching it, and the confidence that those things bring. Can you tell us your website so we can check it out?
You can find us at addicttoathlete.org. It's got all of our calendar of events. Again, everyone is welcome. we have our calendar events on there. We have information. We have a blog, and we have all of our contact information. If you want to come be a part of the program, it's completely free. It's just another community resource. So that's addict2athlete.org.
Good for you. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for being with us, Blue.
Thank you.
At 11, we strive to keep our viewers informed of organizations that are working to improve the lives of people all throughout our community, like Addict II Athlete. So please visit KBYU11.org and learn more about Addict II Athlete. Thanks for watching, and join us next time on Community Connection.